Hey, welcome to episode 127 of Awkwardly Awesome Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Freeman, and today we're talking about a subject that's an absolute favorite of mine personal development. And it's definitely not a favorite of mine because I do it perfectly. I do it very far from perfectly, but largely through personal development. I've come from where I was like 12 years ago, where I was so anxious and just miserable having a speech impediment and just not that comfortable in my own skin to where I am now, where it's like a whole different life. I'm comfortable and we'll talk more about it and I have a guest today who just I'm so excited to talk about the subject with because she has had a fascinating journey. We'll be back in a sec. Stay tuned.
Today's guest, Laura Smith Hill.
It's my pleasure to introduce Laura Smith Hill to you. Laura is a student of personal development and serves as an education program coordinator for English learners. She believes in practicing public speaking and believes in wellness. Why do I find this interesting? Because so often I felt the push to focus on just one or two things that go together, like yoga and meditation, or writing short stories and poetry, or public speaking and improv. But maybe the key to moving forward in life is to integrate and practice a range of interests and disciplines rather than saying, if I choose to do this, I can't do that. So, here to discuss these things with me is Laura Smith Hill. Please welcome Laura Smith Hill. Hey!
Hi,
Well,
Jason.
welcome, Laura. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me to have a conversation with you.
I'm excited for it. So I love to start my guests with a little trip down memory lane. If I had known you at age 7 and asked you, "Hey, Laura, what do you want to be when you grow up?" What would you have? What might you have said?
Hmm. What a fun question. I think I had a range of interests. Even when I was that young, one of the things that I was really interested in was writing. And in fact, when I was a child, I wrote a letter to my future self,
No way.
encourage, yeah, encouraging me to write a book. I
When
still have it.
when you were a kid, you wrote a letter to your future self, encouraging you to write a book. What? wh- Wow! What did you as a kid think that your book would be about?
When I was that age, I thought I wanted my future me to to write a children's book. So that's what I had in mind, but I did a range of types of writing when I was young, and throughout my life I still am a very engaged writer. I am
Wow.
active. I practice writing every day for my job, but also for myself. But I wrote poetry and short stories and autobiographical pieces when I was a child, and I still engage with some genres like that today.
Um. So what do you think fueled your love of writing at an early age? Was it something innate in you, or was it a teacher? Or...
Yeah, I love that question, Jason. What fueled it for me, I believe, is an innate part of my personality, which is I am a lover of words. And I have clarity on that because I was listening to following some of Robert Greene's work, and he talked about discovering your calling and knowing what your purpose is, and he identified with that with a similar trait in his childhood of having an affinity for words and language, and I had the penchant from an early age, and I believe that is something intrinsic. One of my intrinsic components is I love words, the written word, the spoken word, languages, and lettering. I even enjoy things like calligraphy and quotes. So all things related to words are really magnetic for me.
Can you say a little bit more about what you love about words? What about words brings you joy?
Yeah. From a young age, I loved learning new words such that I would get lost in reading the dictionary and taking notes on new words that sparked my curiosity. I engaged in speech contests when I was a teenager and did some acting when I was in high school, and today engage with words and public speaking and communication in a variety of formats. But I just really enjoyed it. One of the things that I appreciate about finding your calling and purpose and getting to know yourself is that when you're engaged, it really resonates with how you were did, you get in a flow with that and you can lose track of time because it's so engaging to you. And from the beginning, I had that kind of relationship with words and learning where I could spend hours by myself studying or in a classroom setting, being involved in academia, but playing with words, learning new words, writing words and concepts. I could engage in philosophical discussions and just talk about what we're learning. So ideas themselves and the words that help us to express them that's something that I'm lost in for a long period of time.
That's something you what?
That's something I can get lost in for a
Mm.
long period of time, and lost in a positive way, like in a flow state.
Oh, oh yeah. Um. So so it's just so wonderful. Oh, and by the way, Terry Grateful Liggins, I met you too on the same day. Says Laura is a very strong writer and communicator, and I am inspired by her.
Thank you, Terry.
So many people, including me at times, have struck have struggled with finding things we love to do in life, the things that get us fully into the flow where we lose track of time. Like as a little kid with words, you're like, I love words. I'm going to spend hours looking at the dictionary and taking notes on words, and you love that. So what ideas would you have for someone who's still struggling to find that thing?
Hmm. I love that question, Jason. And I'm reminded that another one of my early influences, now that you've given me the opportunity to ponder that, some of my early influences were my parents. So both
Wow.
my mother and my father are very strong communicators. They have very strong vocabulary. So I was environmentally influenced by their amazing vocabularies and their mastery of using words and creative expression in dialogue. So
Wow.
that was an early influence for me. And that leads me to, for your question, is one of the ways that I've learned to get in touch with the thing that gets you in a flow, the thing that you are called to, is that activity of reflection on your childhood. So that is one of the ways we get in touch with it, is thinking back that if there were no of us, what did we most love doing with our time? If as a child we were able to shut the bedroom door, close out the rest of the world, what is it that we would gravitate toward in play? That is one way to start to answer that question. And another to explore that is in our adult lives, just dipping our toe in water, doing something that speaks to us, maybe we're not quite sure, but trying something out, playing with it and practicing it to see if it is indeed something that brings us fulfillment and joy. And if it's something that lights you up, that's a signal that your inner self is sending to you.
So what a cool question. When you were a kid, what could you, if you could, when you closed your bedroom door and just lost track of time, what did you do? What a cool what a cool question. And how often do, I'm thinking about my own life, how often do we humans forget about that? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So so what you mentioned that you write a lot now. What how would you describe your writing practice?
Hmm. I journal every day, and I believe it's part of my meditative practice. My way to center myself is every morning I have a practice of waking up with my journal and a beverage, a morning beverage, and journaling either a reflection on the day before, or a reflection on the day ahead, or a combination of both. If I if I'm at my best, I'm journaling at night before I fall asleep. as a reflection on the day, the things that transpired, what lessons I can take away from that day, and some intentions for tomorrow, some intentions or hopes or goals for tomorrow. So that's an ideal night practice for me. And that morning practice then subsequently would be focusing and journaling on the opportunities that the day is presenting to me and what I intend for it.
Wow. What do you notice? What do you notice happens when you journal about the day ahead?
Oh, I notice a huge difference for myself when I journal ahead and when I take time in that process to focus on what I really want to see happen. So it's asking myself the questions of what I want with this day. That helps guide me through the day, and I end up having better flow in the activities of the day and more in tune. And I feel much more organized, less frazzled, and I'm able to make the decisions that I need to keep things flowing along.
How about what do you notice from journaling about the day that has just gone?
Yeah, that is another really beneficial practice because I notice in that I'm pretty intentional about being grateful for the day that has transpired. So I actually sleep much better. I have a better quality of sleep and less disrupted sleep because I've sorted through, these were the challenges. This is what I'm really grateful for. These were the lessons. This is what I'm looking forward to focusing on tomorrow. So I sleep better. I have more peace at night.
Wow. So aside from journaling, which is such a powerful practice, what other personal development practices really bring you joy?
Ooh, so many personal development practices that bring me joy. One of the chief practices is learning and applying that learning to my living.
So not only learning, but applying that learning to your living?
Yeah, yeah.
Say more about that, please.
Yeah. Some of the topics that really inspire me at this time in my life are related to personal development, learning in the area of personal development and wellness. And one of the wellness topics that I like to explore is lifestyle wellness, or some may call it functional medicine. Also habits, the development of healthy habits. And it is certainly a practice because as I learn, I also have that wisdom to that when you study the science of lifestyle wellness, each person responds differently to that research base because we are somewhat unique. So I implement what I learn and I kind of observe how that affects my quality of life and learn from that and develop habits that feed into my ideal lifestyle and the life of my dreams. And I take the time to imagine what my ideal day looks like, my ideal week or month looks like, And then I leverage what I learn to put into practice to get me to that goal.
So I like the notion that you don't just read a book and apply things for long periods of time because the author says it's a good idea. You apply it and then you check in how does this affect me? Is this bringing my unique self more joy, or does this feel right, or is this not quite what I want? Am I getting that part of it?
Yeah, yeah. And it's usually certain things that resonate with me that answer questions that I already have for myself and my life and my own wellness journey. So I take that piece of it and like I know that that's a question I have and here is a possible solution. I might have, say, one particular physician or clinician will offer 10 different strategies for lifestyle wellness. And I'll say, well, I feel like I can really achieve this one. So I'll pick
Hmm.
that one and put it into practice, see how I can embed it within my current habit stacks or my current routines, like in my morning or my evening routine, or how I construct my daily schedule and see how it affects me. And if it does lead to that better, brighter life, then it's something that I note and actually track that this is something I want to maintain and see if in the long run this continues to give me a better quality of life.
Hmm. Hmm. Emilio, good to see you, my friend. So good. Been thinking about you guys, but haven't reached out. Really good to see you. Let's talk soon. Terry says, he comments, and I wanted to remember to ask him more about this. So thanks for helping me with my notes, Terry. What would you define kind of a little bit about what lifestyle wellness and functional medicine mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a very extensive field, and I only scratched the surface of it in my personal studies. But it would include the types of behaviors and habits that we employ on a daily basis
Hmm.
that feed into long-term wellness, health span, they keep us young, they fight off disease, and they can be as simple as what we choose to eat, when we choose to eat it, getting it during our form of activity or exercise, having
Yeah,
quality
getting what? I'm
relationships,
sorry. You cut
and
off.
sleeping well. Okay. So they can include things as simple as what we eat, when we eat, getting quality sleep, having uh, quality relationships, having a social circle. What am I missing? Oh, and exercise, getting what kind of movement or exercise we get each day. So it includes those behaviors, habits that we have that feed into a long and healthy life and fight off disease.
And
That come
that
through?
sounds really joyful because who doesn't want to feel good for a long period of time? It sounds really joyful. Emilio says, love the morning routine. You mentioned consistency in your answer. Why is consistency important when we discuss personal
Mm,
development and lifestyle wellness?
mm. Consistency is definitely key in my experience and in my practice. We're human and things happen. Sometimes schedules get flipped upside down, or life demands or opportunities come our way that we can't say no to or don't want to. So having a forgiveness toward ourselves about the times when we miss our routine is really important, because it helps us bounce back, that we had a day where maybe we didn't go to sleep at our regular time, or
Mm,
we maybe had a glass of wine and we normally don't do that, for example. So we want to leave space for life to happen, but the consistency of knowing that these are the habits that really, if they're stacked up over time, are going to help me feel better, happier, and healthier for a long time. And
mm.
for another example is that I'll feel better in the clothes that I wear. That was always a big signal to me, is that I feel comfortable in my own skin and the clothes I have fit me. That is a joy in and of itself that I don't want to take for granted, because I know how much joy it actually brings me to just have that comfort.
So I noticed you're saying words like comfort and joy and feeling good for a long period of time. I haven't heard you say the S word once so far in this discussion, and the S word I'm thinking of is should. So often at least I think I should do a personal development activity because it's good for me or because it's the right thing to do and or whatever. But I haven't heard you say that word once so far in this discussion. So what is your relationship to the word should?
Jason, you ask such great questions.
I'm glad
Mine,
you said. I'm glad you said that because I'm like, is that question good or is that question wacko? So I'm glad you said that. Thanks.
yeah, I think it's an excellent question, and you're spot on, because I do have a very intentional relationship with the word should. I
Mm,
don't I don't utilize it. And in my own journey of having disciplines in the area of personal development, self development, I've basically omitted it from my vocabulary and even my mentality. I think that discipline intrinsically should have, I used it. Discipline intrinsically has within it delight. And it's
yeah,
not,
what did you just say? You said discipline intrinsically has within it delight.
yes.
Wow.
We are
Okay.
free. We are free to choose. And I choose disciplines that end up bringing me delight.
We are free to choose, and I choose disciplines that end up bringing me delight.
Yeah.
Continue.
So I don't should myself. I know what I want my life to look like in the areas where I can control. And now there's that which we can control, and there's that which we do not. But the areas where we can have impact and we can choose a self-enhancing behavior versus a self-destructive behavior, in the long run, it will give us delight. We all know that feeling of, I chose something that in the moment was very instantly gratifying and pleasant. But the next morning or the next day, I didn't feel as good. So that's a vote for the future self that I'm not aiming for, instead of a vote for the future self of my dreams and the future life of my dreams, or just the tomorrow that's going to make me happy, instead of the 5 minutes of enjoying something that I know is going to make me feel miserable tomorrow.
So
that's the
you're
delight.
you're into happiness today and happiness tomorrow versus happiness today and feeling miserable tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think the beauty of creating your own lifestyle, your own habit stacks, is like, if you entertain the research of James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, we can consider pairing habits that may be a little bit more hard for us, or behaviors that are more challenging, with something we really enjoy, so that we can find a delight in it today and the delight tomorrow in the results we get. So for example, if I struggle with my morning workouts, but I love listening to podcasts like Awkwardly Awesome, I can listen to my Awkwardly Awesome podcast while I'm doing my workout, and that sweetens it for me. It makes it more delightful, and it's a win-win.
Well, a plus on that example. What a great example, Laura. What a great example.
Right?
Terry says Laura has so much insight. I wonder if she plans to provide any personal lifestyle consulting services in this area.
Oh, Terry, wow, thank you for asking that question. I actually do aspire to live what I learn, to design and build the life that loves me back, so that I can inspire and equip other people to do the same thing. So that's kind of a passion project that I do have in mind. Thank you for asking.
So wait. You're just throwing out these zingers and just moving on. Design and build a life that loves me back. Design and build a life that loves me back. That's a nugget. That's what a beautiful direction to go in. What should I do in life? Oh, design and build a life that loves me back. That's really good. And
Thanks.
then, speaking of this, thanks for prompting me again today. So you're seventh grade. Not seventh grade. Seventh grade is on my mind because I'm working on a project. So your young self wanted you to write a book. As you sit here, Laura Smith Hill right now, what would you like to write your book about?
Mm, mm. Most likely, well, what's speaking to me right now in terms of writing a book is a type of workbook that guides people through the kind of process that I've engaged and continue to practice with my lifestyle development.
Oh, do you want a title, theoretical, proposed title for this book?
Do you have one for me?
No, but Terry does, Lifestyling with Laura.
Well, yes, yes. Lifestyling with Laura is a title that I've in fact shared with Terry on occasion because we are sometimes engaged in brainstorming together. And yes, it is what I've considered lifestyling with Laura. And I love the opportunity to learn and also put it into words and share it with others in whatever way I can that will be an encouragement and an inspiration. And every once in a while, Jason, we put a nugget out there and it just really hits home for somebody. It's just the right word at the right time. And I'm quite certain you experience this and engage on it regularly, where you're in the right place at the right time and you say an encouraging word and that's just what that person needed to hear. So my hope is with the things that I share that I could offer up some of that encouragement that is just what somebody needs to hear based on the journey that they're walking, because every one of our journeys is unique.
You bring up a great subject. So we speak from what we know, as well as just energy on any given day and from our heart. And we don't know what words are going to ripple out into someone's lives, or how they're going to ripple out into someone's life. Speaking of that, I think of people who are learning English as a second language, and teaching them the skill and how they gain confidence, and can communicate, and how far that ripples out. What 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 are some of your favorite experiences teaching English as a second language
Mm,
in general?
mm. Teaching English to speakers of other languages is certainly an area of passion for me. And some of my favorite moments are when I get to be in the classroom with and be again in flow, to be in that place of, because I've been a teacher for 27 years.
Wow.
It's an area that's a natural skill. It's a natural skill. I still have a beginner's mind in, so I'm always ready to learn more about how to be a better teacher and how to help others be better teachers as a teacher trainer. But because of all of that experience and that I get to use my tool chest in teaching language people, it feels like flow when I'm in the classroom with students and I can convey a topic in a way they understand and then construct an activity, rehearse and to practice that skill or that language item until they feel comfortable, they feel confident, and ideally can use it in their daily life.
So a lot to just weigh in what you said. the first thing, and I reveal my limited knowledge of other languages. Unfortunately, I only speak English, but I said something about teaching English as a second language, and that's then you rephrased it, and it occurred to me some of the people you teach might know quite a few language already, and they might just be learning English as another one of the many languages they know, which amazes me. The other thing is, so to me, when I tried to learn Spanish, which didn't go very well at all, un poco. Um, I my experience of learning language was the farthest thing from being in the flow state. But to hear you talk about teaching language and being in flow, how do you create that, or can you say more about that? I don't even know if I'm asking good questions here because I have never thought of these things together.
Ooh, it is complex. So there's flow for the teacher, the feeling of flow, but there might also be the feeling of flow in consideration for the learner,
Hmm.
and that perhaps is a dance, but part of being an effective teacher and to have mastery in that craft, we are really attuned to our our learner, the participant, that we are guiding through that journey of language acquisition, and together we seek to discover the best way that that person learns.
Hmm.
And there are some variables. There's some in how
That's
people
what.
learn
That's what.
best. So that there's some variety in how people learn best. So the job of the teacher, the job that I have in a classroom setting, is to be attuned to what is really working for certain learners and to give them more of that, and to help them understand themselves and how they learn best, and give them more opportunities in that way. So that
So,
helps me to be in flow as a teacher, but me to help them find their flow as a learner.
so, I mean, this sounds fairly complex. Just tutoring one student, but how do you? So you have like 10 students in the class, and they all might learn in a slightly different way. How do you keep track of that all in your mind? Like you're teaching one lesson, but 10 different learning styles. How?
That is a great question, and it's almost its own field within the field of teaching language, is differentiated instruction or working with multiple intelligences. But essentially what I do is I teach to the group, because it's usually not one-on-one for me. In my experience, it's usually 12 to 30 people at one time.
You said 12 to 30 p. Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So I teach in a way that meets the needs of the majority, but I also know intrinsically there are certain people that have a unique struggle or a unique strength, that I can dance between those things. I can dance between what works for most of us, and then when we do pair work or group work or individual work, now we can give somebody a task that best meets their needs individually. But in the group presentation, not so much, except for I'm really careful about how I present the language and literacy tasks to the students. I make sure I say it in a way that everyone can understand. So one of the things we practice in this field is language grading, whereby we choose words that are more common and say them very clearly, like I'm demonstrating right now, so that all of the students have a chance to access that information and use gestures and visual aids to help reinforce meaning, and then go really slowly and give opportunities to check comprehension and to elicit, what did you hear me say? Can you repeat that? Here, I'll give another example, and here's another example. And now let's practice. Let's practice 3 times or 5 times. Now practice with a partner. So it's so fun. It really is a part of my life and my career that I really get fuel from. And it can be an evening class, it can be a Saturday class, it can be in the building because I supervise teachers, can be in the building with them night or weekend, and being present with them and hearing that learning and community happen.
Wow.
That really excites
me. So you've loved English since you were a kid. How has teaching for so long and supervising other teachers, how has that deepened your appreciation of the language?
It definitely keeps me in touch with how challenging it is and how much time it takes to learn another language and to learn it fluently. So it keeps me very empathetic to people who are emerging in their multilingual abilities. I have a understanding of the challenges that creates for people, but I also get to see a lot of the successes and benchmarks along the way, where maybe someone started a new business or became a US citizen, or they were able to make an appointment without the help of a family member, or they applied for college, or they graduated from college. So I've been in it long and I get to see all kinds of really pivotal life events take place that we get to play a small part of.
Some of these moments you must give you goosebumps, almost like seeing one of your students accomplish a dream of theirs. That must just be amazing.
It is. I am a person who lives with much awe of life and much wonder, and this is a tremendous area of awe and wonder for me, because I stand in gratitude and humility and amazement and pride for our multilingual community members when they achieve these successes. I am in awe because I just think about how much work it took for them to get there and how much persistence, consistency, dedication, resilience that it required for them to get to that point. I know I played just a small part, but I'm so proud of the teams I work with alongside, because it's a key effort. We are one program, and there are others in the community that come around and support and are encouraging toward our multilingual community members, and it all matters. It all matters. It takes the whole village essentially to wrap around someone. I know it does for me, so it's no different for the people that I get to serve. It takes a community for me, and that's part of the blessing we have in life is we're in it together.
Oh, so amazing. Um, Terry says achieving mastery as a communicator, I'm sure, comes with practice. I'm curious if Laura has a recommendation of where people can go to practice to become an effective communicator. This question has no agenda in it whatsoever, Terry. It's just a totally open-ended question. But thank you, Terry, for keeping me on my toes. It's about that time. We will be remiss if we didn't discuss the answer to this question quickly. So, Laura,
Yeah.
so
When
where does someone go to become a more effective communicator? Or
mm,
where's an organization that begins with T that someone can go to become a more effective communicator?
yes. Achieving mastery as a communicator is an area of personal development that intrigues me, as I expressed in the beginning with your question about childhood. Because of my love for words, I very much value opportunities to practice and polish my skills as a communicator. And I'm a part of a community of learners that I know you're familiar with, Jason, which is Toastmasters International.
And
And
I
in
came to
those
your group
clubs,
a few weeks ago and it was amazing. Sorry, continue. Just
isn't it?
I just had to interject that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's a lot of fun. In addition to giving people an opportunity to improve one of the most crucial skills we have in life, which is communication, whether it's your first language or your seventh or eighth language.
Wow.
Communication, effective communication is a skill that is imperative to the quality of life and quality of relationships for everyone. It's part of our professional journey, it's part of our personal journey. And Toastmasters is one of the ways I practice and hone my communication skills. And I really enjoy mentoring and providing coaching to others, as well as learning from their talents and strengths on an ongoing basis. So it's been 13 years, a member of a local Toastmasters club, and provide some service through leadership in those clubs and mentorship, as well as receiving some fantastic mentorship and feedback myself. So I
Did
appreciate
you
that
say
question, Terry. Is
you've been
a
in
member of my
Toastmasters for 13 years?
yeah,
Uh,
13 years.
oh wow. So if someone's curious about Toastmasters, where do they go to find out more about it?
Yeah, they can go to www.toastmastersinternational.org and look for a club near you. I know you have listeners all over the US. This is an
Hmm.
international organization. So you can find clubs near you through an online search or through that Toastmasters International website.
Um. Oh, thank you so much. Eh, And this is a link of your club, huh?
Yes, yep. I am a member of Sioux Falls Club 210, the 210th club established in the world. So it's got a long history and is one example of the phenomenal clubs that are out there. People are welcome to visit those clubs with no obligation. Check it out, see if it meets your needs for communication and leadership skills development. And those that join pay a small membership fee to have the privilege of working together in that learning community to hone those skills.
Um, as I said, I attended one of your meetings as a guest, and it was just a phenomenal experience. Thank, thank you. Um, one of the one of the questions I ask every guest is what does imperfect best mean? What does doing your imperfect best mean to you? To me, it means having a vision of your best and going for it. But then, as stuff comes up, problems, mistakes, whatever, learning from those and then moving back towards your best. What does doing your imperfect best mean to you, Laura Smith Hill?
Ooh. Learning, living out what we learn, learning again, and living that out again. We never arrive at our destination. All of our growth and learning is lifelong. So, our imperfect best, I think, is with us always. And I love that concept because it gives us courage to step out and do the best that you can at this point in time. We always have that opportunity to act with the best knowledge and skill sets that we have right now, and that's all we ever have. And it gives us an opportunity if we falter, if we make a misstep, it's information to help us be better in the future. I really resonate with your definition. I think that is lifelong journey is living out our imperfect best.
That is powerful. I resonate with your definition. It's wonderful. One last question. So people, I imagine people will hear this and be very inspired to go forward on that path and grow and find wellness activities that speak to them. And one thing that happens sometimes to me when I get so inspired is I'll get inspired about a lot, then very close thereafter I'll get so overwhelmed by what I'm inspired about that then the overwhelm keeps me from acting on the inspiration. What would you say about the dance between being inspired to move forward and dealing with overwhelm?
Mm, that's a really great question, too, Jason. We have to, we don't have to, my language. We have a real opportunity in life to be compassionate to ourselves.
Hmm.
and to take small steps. We need to give ourselves grace. It's really beneficial to us when we give ourselves grace, but also not bite on so much, and take a small step in the direction. I think if we look at that overarching objective, we have such an opportunity to be patient about achieving that long-term goal. And it really helped me, Jason, to think about the habits today that will lead to that better future. The really small, almost microscopic habit of having, for one example, I have my daily prayer time when I'm drying my hair in the morning. So rather than thinking, hey, I'm gonna take in 15 minutes unrealistically at some part of my perhaps chaotic and really demanding day, to make sure that I pray for the people that I care about and the people that I impact. Instead, I make it really small and really simple. One habit that I can do embedded in my daily routine. So the
Did you say
overarching goal is
15
accomplished.
minutes while driving?
So yeah, I've used driving time for one example, but for me, it's when I'm driving in the morning that
When
I
you what?
have a prayer routine, a prayer when I dry my hair.
Oh, God, I kept not getting dry your hair. Oh, nice. Nice. I got it now.
It's very obscure. You got it now?
But
Yeah, so for
that's
me it's
great wisdom about combining two things. And yeah, thank you so much, Laura. You have such profound wisdom, and I'm excited to read and learn from your book. Thank you for coming on. Oh, that was fun. I just met Laura, and I at an event and attended a Toastmasters meeting with her. We've never had an actual conversation of any length before, but it's just so cool. The people around us are such fonts of wisdom and stories and encouragement. And as you are, talk to the people around you, sit down, ask them questions, and let them ask you questions. And I urge you just to delight in the experience. Speaking of experience, next week, my good friend Tracy Robinson and I are going to be talk swapping. Nope. Talk swap is a thing we invented some years ago to get more in touch with our stories, and to just share each other's stories. So please tune in next week. Thanks for tuning in today. Whether you watch this live or seeing it later, know your presence matters. I appreciate it. If you have comments, drop them in the chat, or message me. Thanks for being you. Have a great day. You are the best.